Howdy! Welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I'll be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. This week, we are bloody Jimless. He's in New Caledonia for Weekend Geek, so he's running games for the folks there, and unfortunately, there will be no Mr. Smith, but rest assured, we might still try and kill him anyway. In the meantime, we are going to be proceeding with the Two-Headed Serpent as we are picking back up in the return to New York as our heroes prepare for their next adventure, wherever that will take them. Next week, we've got a couple of extra streams as well, as we are continuing our RuneQuest playthrough. Jim will be back in time to run that, and we are still joined by Harley Kane, so come by and see how that goes as we trek through swamps and try to avoid undead dinosaurs. It's pretty sweet. If you're interested in running the Two-Headed Serpent yourself, you can get your own copy from and all of the VODs for our campaigns, both RuneQuest and Call of Cthulhu, are collected over on the Chaosium YouTube channel. We do stream live each week at 4 p.m. Pacific, so if you'd like to join us live, then come on over here.
Hey,
let's say
to be that person, it's 3 p.m. Pacific.
Is it 3 p.m.?
I think it's 3 p.m. Pacific now.
Far out.
So close.
No, I appreciate
it changed like last week or something. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it. Yeah. Okay. 3 p.m. Thank you. Pacific or whatever. Check the Discord for details. Thank you, Aki Stuff. And the Twitter. Thank you to Sirenscape and Roll20 for being great tools, which we use to run Call of Cthulhu. And no thank you to Time Zones for existing. Go away. All right, without further ado, let's return. So our four investigators, although only the three are present, have returned back to New York to their homes. And you have 3 days of sort of relaxation, debriefing, a chance to train some skills before you're expected back at the Cadisaius Foundation. So as we go around the table, I need to introduce your heroes, and we'll check in on how they're going and what they might be getting up to. Art, would you like to kick us off?
Hi, I'm Art. I am playing Lieutenant Aries Carter, who is, I'm pretty sure, still technically and definitely insane. I don't actually know the rules for recovering from that, so...
It's it's basically you will get rid of it during these 3 days. It's basically like a suitable break, and this will tick that box.
Yay for that. Well, spoilers then. Sort of. Lieutenant Carter had a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
A little bit of a wobble. Maybe stabbed some people. Maybe stabbed some people who were maybe not enemies. And has spent a fair amount of time kind of just trying to recover previous to arriving in New York. And now they are in New York. Had a bit of an interesting moment going home, realizing that someone else had been there.
Yep.
But has decided to deal with that later, as they would like to pay house call.
Yeah. Heading upstate. Chance to get away from it all. Debrief. Speaking of making a house call, Jackson.
That's me. I'm Jackson. Oh, and I'm playing Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, who is a doctor, a mechanic, and aviator extraordinaire, who's just kind of here to have a good time, but is also somewhat disturbed that he's returned home and also found someone was in his house and left a muddy shovel and a wedding ring just hidden in his barn.
Yeah.
Which is very suspicious.
That is weird.
But maybe they had a good reason, so... reserve judgment.
It's best to assume good intent, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. Speaking of assuming good intent, Alex.
I was muted and writing things in chat. So I was like, oh, I don't have enough hands for this. I am Alex, and I am playing Wilhelmina St. Clair, who saw some real weird shit last time and is really keen on seeing a little bit more and perhaps knowing a little bit more and reading a little bit more and understanding a little bit more and not going mad while doing it. That would be ideal, but if I do, worth it.
Yeah, you're happy to take a couple knocks if it means gleaning yet more insight into the mythos and
physical
beyond.
knocks, psychological knocks. I have decided that I probably do need to be a little bit better at fighting back and maybe running away.
Yes.
That has been my lesson from our last adventure, where I nearly died twice.
Yep.
So I think I'll probably work on that a little bit. But first things first, I must hit the books.
Priority 1. And it's a good one to take, given you are... Yeah. So speaking of that, I actually want to zoom back in on Minnie a little bit because there's a little more information I wanted to give you of when you first return. So I want to pick back up right as you returned home. So as you came back inside the house, and you've got this little apartment in New York, locked away deep inside a building, and it's still scattered with sort of bits of old newspapers, tomes and books all across a number of shelves throughout the walls, and in that kind of like organized chaos that only really you can pass, only you can understand. There's a small doorway that leads off towards your bedroom, and as you're scattering through it or moving amongst the notes and trying to get a sense of things, you spotted first that there was signs that someone had moved a few of the journals and that a typewriter or something may have been set inside. And then you hear a drop of something inside the other room as a notebook or something falls to the ground, and there's a clatter from the bedroom.
We went straight immediately to Caduceus, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Did you not pass go? Did you not click?
I still have my firearm, so I'm taking that out.
Okay.
If we went straight there, then I am still equipped.
Yeah. It's a heavy piece, and as you can pull the hammer back, there's a satisfying click as it falls in. It gives you a sense of safety, and even inside your own home.
And I'm going to quietly head towards that room, because if I don't think they're still here, but well, we've learned not to take chances, haven't we?
We have. You pad across the floor, finding the gaps between books, and then step into your bedroom. It's a fairly small room where you prioritize more book space and reading over the bed itself, and even across like the duvet, there's a couple of journals and scattered pieces of parchment paper. As you step inside and scan the room, it's dark. Only sort of ambient light from the main room is filtering inside, and there's no immediate sign of anyone within. Can you give me either a spot hidden or a listen roll, please? Okay.
Gotcha.
As you look around, there's something off about this room as well. It could be that someone's moved through and like adjusted journals in here as well. And then you spot on the far wall, there's one of like it'd be like a university accreditation, or maybe just a very large frame poster. And instead of the traditional text on it, it now just reads just gibberish all across it. And as you pause and look at it, the gun held before you, you hear from a vantage point above the bookshelf talking down to you. Minnie, darling, I think you've had vermin in here. And as you turn around,
spin a name.
There's a large, fat cat seated on top of your bookshelf, setting itself in comfortably with its tail curled around its feet and then flicking idly above.
Get a lower the gun and lean in. Mr. Timkins?
Minnie?
Oh. Am I drunk?
Oh, come on now. We've been through this before, and I'd
No,
hoped...
we haven't.
Oh, Minnie. We've been through this before, and you've been through this now too. Your mind's beginning to open, and I'd hoped that maybe now, after all those trials, we'd get a little further this time. And
okay, but you're a cat.
He hops with unnatural, dexterity from the bookshelf onto the bed where he lands. None of it is disturbed, do very anything, and then he drops again down to the floor and begins to wind across towards you. And he says, I've told you before as well, I don't prefer the name. I'd rather just be Cat, nothing else.
Okay.
Now tell me, Minnie, what are you going to do about those that came in here? This place isn't safe now.
Change the locks?
It's a good start. Practical.
Tell Cat to say it?
Seems sensible. Do you trust them?
I'm gonna tell Lieutenant Carter. That's what I'm gonna do.
Now there's
tell Lieutenant Carter.
a start. I tell you what, Minnie, why don't we go see if we can find them right now? Follow me. And he slides down and begins to walk underneath your bed.
Oh dear. Oh no. Oh, that's a bit. Just a second, Mr. Cat. And I'm going to rush over to one of my many notepads, take a sheet off, and scribble a note. Went under the bed with the cat, and put that on the desk, and then go. That I get like. Just,
as you
like,
begin to scratch.
This is bad.
On the paper,
weird, but...
I am going to need you to make a power roll.
Okay.
Okay. As you start to write, you actually see that you love books. You love reading. You probably think in like literature, like actually seeing the text passed on page. It is very difficult to write here. And when you first start to like in like flowery script or even just longer words, you find that they begin to like, muddy together and just swirl into almost Narcal-esque fonts, just sort of like sliding runes. But you're able to focus and get a very simple message down. As you finish it and place it on the bedside table, you hear now echoing as if from down a long corridor in a hospital or something from far, far away, the cat's voice saying, "It's a simple trick. You slide underneath the bed, but still above its shadow. Through we go."
That doesn't sound simple at all, and also this is extremely strange, but... That man had no skin, so... Under we go.
Get down. To try and shimmy yourself through. Once more, can I now get you to make a power roll for me, please? Okay. It's weird. You can kind of find a gap, a sliver above the shadow that you can kind of push your fingers up into first, and then on the other side of it you feel cool breeze coming along your nails, and then you get the rest of you up, and then shimmying, twisting, and then with a sort of like a satisfying pop, you emerge on the other side and dropping down into a long corridor with like halogen bulbs flickering just above you. It looks as though it proceeds forever in one direction and forever in the other, only as far as you can see before the the walls actually close in just in the far distance, and darkness swallows them. And on either side there are doorways. Each door is distinct. You can see simple wooden ones, quite beautiful ornate pieces, flapping canvas tents, all manner of entryways on either side of you, and the cat is seated between you and the closest door.
I've gone crazy, or this is a dream.
One of the two.
Neither really means anything, does it? This door?
Open it. See what you find. You reach forward.
Actually the cat.
Sorry?
Are you actually the cat? Are you like a manifestation of something else that is using the cat's form as a familiar kind of thing for me to communicate with, as opposed to whatever your true form is the cat a means to an end? Are you actually the cat? Like when I see the cat on the step outside, is it you or is it just a cat? Because I don't want to talk to the cat as though it's you.
I like to think that this is me, and the cat outside on the stairs is just an extension. When most men and dogs dream, only a little bit of them filters through. Whereas when cats walk in reality, only a little part of us slips behind.
Yeah, that tracks. I'll go through the door.
You reach forward and turn the handle and push it open. Who are you looking to find? Is it Lieutenant Carter?
I wasn't really looking, because I suppose that's what we were mentioning.
That was what
she was mostly just thrown.
Just roaming?
I think that was Minnie's intention before the cat started talking.
Yeah.
Everyone has a plan until this cat starts
talking.
talking.
The cat starts talking, and now it's just let's see what we can see.
Yeah. You open the doorway, and it leads out into a large, beautiful office space looking down on the New York City skyline. A number of people are seated around a long, mirror-sheened wooden table, and as they go about giving a presentation, one of them stands up very confidently to deliver the final notes, and you will realize he is entirely trouserless, and his jacket is on backwards. Another gentleman in the room points this out, and to much embarrassment and dismay, the poor fellow tries to just like scurry down and hide underneath the table to rid himself of the vicious glares of his peers who have found it not to be a particularly effective presentation.
Yes, I've had that dream. Right, next door.
You close it and move along.
I suppose I need to actually focus on something, don't I? Otherwise I'm just going to wander into random people's dreams. I don't want to go into any of my friends' dreams, though.
Was there anyone else you'd like to see?
That feels like a violation of some kind. What about the person who broke in here? I'm going to focus on the person who broke into my house.
Now there's an idea. How much do you know about
Might
them?
be. Well, I know that they broke into my house, and I mean, I didn't know anything about Pantsmen there.
I suppose that's a start. There's a lot of people in New York. There's even more in the world. Once you start going beyond to the stars, number becomes infinitesimal.
People in the stars? No. Not getting distracted. People in the stars, really? But there was only one person who was broken into my house, I hope, so...
All right. Try it.
Think about
Focus
hands
on
on my doorknob that don't belong. Yes.
Make a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Make it real. And if you need to, lie, cheat, and fill in the gaps. Let's try this way.
Is black.
What are you picturing?
Okay, yes.
What are you picturing? What is the image you try and conjure? Who is this person that would come into? What do you know about them? What assumptions can you make?
A shadowy hand on the doorknob, assuming that they're human-esque and have hands.
Mm-hmm.
They have a typewriter bag with them.
Yep.
A large bag, something large and heavy, footsteps uneven. Yeah, just a typewriter. It's got to have a typewriter in it, and they took some notebooks, so they've got to have enough stuff to carry that. So that's giving them an uneven gait that you could hear. Trying to stay away from any particular images. They probably have to be pretty big. Not huge, but not small. Stoop maybe a little to get into the doorframe and underneath the chandelier hanging in the, well, we call it a chandelier. It's mostly just a fancy pendant light hanging in the living room, which I've made quite low because I'm short and need light to see. So,
Okay. You try and conjure this image, try and sort of turn it into reality, and then you try and follow the cat and find their dreams. Can you please give me a power roll? And this is going to be extreme.
Oh boy.
With 3 X's and like a surf's up sign. Far out.
Well, now.
Something about this all comes together. And as you're following the cat pattern, you begin to add details, make assumptions, guesses where you need to fill in the gaps, and eventually narrow it down until you can almost feel in like that like wide expanse of an impossible number of doors, locks beginning to be turned inside them as you eliminate them one after the other until finally you are standing in front of a single one. It is a red door frame and it looks as though it would be the entrance towards a cafe or something. It's sort of got like some garden space along either side and a welcome mat out the front, and from the inside you can hear the tinkling of china and the stirring of silver spoons along porcelain.
Right. Thank you, Cat. Let's give this a whirl, shall we?
Okay.
And go through the door.
You turn it and push inside. On the interior, you find a cafe. It's a small affair with only a few scattered tables around it, and towards the back, it leads into a kitchen. Although the kitchen is significantly different. You think it's a dream splicing two sections together. The kitchen appears to be tied to like a home memory. It's possibly the kitchen of their childhood or something. And there is a short, older woman bustling about inside it, moving out trays of food from the oven and bringing them into the room. Seated around the tables, you see a group of surly looking men in different stages of life. The connection between all of them is they appear to be some sort of gang, mafia, something like that. There's larger figures among them as well as a few smaller ones. One of them sort of toying with a pen knife that they flick between their fingers and then occasionally drive down into the quite nice cafe tables. And seated at the front among all of them is a small, young-looking guy, the youngest of all of them. You'd expect him to be late 20s, maybe, but he still speaks to them with authority. The person that you come in and are standing behind, and it's as if it's his perspective that you're using to take in the room, is a huge looking guy with a missing ear on his left-hand side, and his pushed back black hair is slicked with streaks of white as it grays with age. The gentleman, the large one, pops his knuckles and rests them on the table before you can hear there's a murmur going all throughout the room, and at first it's indiscernible, and then it's just nonsense, and you can hear that they're all going, Joey Bananas. Joey Bananas. Joey Bananas, Joey Bananas, Joey Bananas. And the young guy that looks to be the leader of all of them is fuming mad. He's getting more and more irritated, and you can hear him beginning to go, heads are gonna roll. You say that to me one more time, I will fucking kill you. It's Joseph Banano. It's Joseph Banano. But they continue to go, Joey Bananas. Joey Bananas. Joey Bananas.
So you've got an origin story.
He's continuing to fume, and this kind of continues on. This appears to be the subject of the dream. The person whose head you are in is the large guy with the missing ear. That appears to be the person who you are actually in their dream. You don't really get noticed as you're in there, but you kind of have the instinct that you could reach out and tap their shoulder. You're kind of a wraith until you choose to interact.
Are there any similar features between the guy whose perspective I'm in and not Joey Bananas?
They both they both
look like he's the older version of him.
Not necessarily, no. Make a I guess spot hidden intelligence.
Spot hidden will do me.
Spot hidden works. Yeah, see.
We gotta like watch the newspapers the next couple of weeks.
Right.
And then like as soon as an article says 10 gangsters found dead with bananas in their throats, we're gonna be like, we're gonna take that case. And we'll just get like a massive head start and solve it.
Hell yeah.
It had to happen at some point.
You rolled pretty well so far.
Oh well.
You cannot they appear to the significant majority of them appear to be Italian. Being mafia ties. You don't know if they are an older version. There's similarities, certainly. They could be cousins. It could be a younger version. Dreams are a little hard to interpret.
Yeah. But there seems to be some sort of relation, but not sure who. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I am going to reach out and tap him on the shoulder.
Bananas. Okay. You reach out and tap him on the shoulder, and the man turns. You can see he's got a broken nose and a scar over one side of his lip. And he turns to you.
That's what I wanted.
And he says, "Hey, how can I help you? We're closed for the time being. This is a private meeting." Joey Bananas.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I must be lost.
Joey
What was the name of this place?
Joey Bananas. Look, this is a private establishment. We don't publicly advertise. You're gonna have to come back, find somewhere else to eat, all right? There's a closed kitchen.
Yes, I'm just, I must be lost. What street are we on?
Can you make...
I must have gotten turned around.
Can you make a...
Fast talk?
It'll be charm... yeah, I can do fast talk, actually. Yeah, trying to sort of twist the words. Yeah, it is gonna be hard. 12 points. Or you could try and push this.
Yeah, this feels like a push
situation.
So
before you push, you so as you're talking to this person, you can see the cat has wound its way between your legs, and then suddenly it freezes in place, stands stock still. Its head swings around back to the way you came. Its hair bristles and it darts. And as it passes underneath one of the table legs, vanishes. And you begin to feel a cold setting in around you. From behind you, the doorway's still open, leading back into that long hallway, and there's a chill beginning to rush down it. To linger here could be dangerous.
I do not have a lot of luck. I am not a lucky
Bananas. Joey Bananas.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Joey Bananas.
Joey Bananas?
Joey
Bananas. Rahad. I think I'll luck it, actually.
Is an option.
Failure is always an option.
Just not.
I'm just so curious. It's just that I do not have a great deal of luck.
Yeah?
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to push. I want to find out what happens.
Yeah, let's go. Win-win either way.
Yeah. I did a bonus instead of...
Okay, yeah, just do it. Just do a full reroll.
Come here, fast talk. No.
Okay. You stay and you're trying to get through to this guy, but there's something in the dream state. You can see him kind of trying to puzzle out and focus in on you, trying to like understand what you're asking rather than just deflecting, and you're not really supposed to be here, so he can't fully understand it. As you're talking to him, you can see it's as if the like, not the focus, whatever. It's like his face is moving towards you until it's just the two of you, very close together, trying to have this conversation, and darkness swells around the room outside. The sound of Joey Bananas begins to fade away until all you can hear is sort of like an undercurrent of murmur, and a cold chill begins to slide around you. Soon it's just the two of you standing almost in a spotlight in darkness around you. And then you can see that there's something out there just on the very edge of the spotlight swirling around, large, cylindrical, and suddenly you see the glitter of scales writhing on the edge of the light. The guy you're talking to still doesn't seem to be able to answer you, and now you can hear there's a louder voice that's overwhelming him and everything else. It says, "Where is my scepter? My robes, my crown, my things? I know you took it. You little vermin creature. Give it back, or I'll consume you whole." And then above you, the spotlight becomes an open mouth of a huge serpentine body that rushes down, envelops both you and the man whose dream you're in, and snaps closed. I need you to make a sanity roll, and suddenly you wake up with a start in a cold, drenched sweat. Back in your room, the dream concluded. I'm still going to give you just 1 point, please. But you have returned to the land of the waking.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
sit up and look for the cat. Mr. Cat? Cat?
No sign of him in here.
No cat. I'm gonna go get him some treats. Just get up and get my bag together and bustle out the door.
Perfect.
And then come back in and put like a little bit of tape on the inside of it. Just set like when I'm closing the door, just yeah.
Perfect. You can look out for the cat and give him a treat the next time you see him. You will also find that there is no sign of the note that you left on the bedside table that you wrote before descending.
I was dreaming. Because it's not real.
Well, you were dreaming. Doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't real. So as we zoom out a step now, you each have some time to look into things. Dr. Sam, you found a strange and muddied shovel on the hidden.
It's true.
Amongst your shed. Lieutenant Carter, you realized that someone had taken a copy of your lock, and Minnie, you found your place had someone had let themselves into and copied some of your notes. It is day 1 of you have 2 full days. And then on day 3, you're expected to return to Catasayas, and you're also doing brunch in the morning with Hubert. So what does everyone want to get up to? And also, given you've kind of gotten some skill improvements over during the downtime, kind of seed those in. Like, what are you doing to practice them? How are you training up? What's it look like?
Well, I'm pretty sure that was my Dreamland lore bump.
I think it might have been.
It might have been. I also took a bit of a dodge and brawl, so...
Chucking rocks.
Let me jump.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
I forgot to roll my skill improvements.
Oh no. Do you want to do those?
So I'm going to do that, and if you want to mute roll 20 so the viewers don't hear a constant whip as I roll that, that'll be fine. You can get back to me later.
Yeah. Let me do that. Where's the flipping? There you go. Enable background chat sounds. No, thank you. And hang on, I got to do it on the second viewer I have open. Nope. I got.
Just mute the Chrome tab, you fool.
Oh, see, he's clever. We give him that. I think it should have him muted.
All right, great.
I think.
Come
also,
back to me.
Art, you get 1 more Cthulhu Mythos point, which I didn't give you last time. And when you trigger a bout, you get a little pointy. Yeah. So uno más. Okay.
I thought I had already.
Unless we already did it for you. You would have gotten 5 for the first time. Actually, go. You have about a madness, and then you got 1 further. Oh no.
Okay, that actually then I would have been on 1 extra. So yay for that. I am now on. Not telling.
Yeah. Okay. What do you folks want to get up to? In a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm basically going to improve dodge and brawl, and I think Jim said that that's what he was going to give Hubert as well. I know Jim's not here today, but it seems
Hubert still exists.
Hilarious and also fitting that Minnie and Hubert both do their Rocky montage.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hubert's also like he's spending a lot of time in hospital, so I guess wealthy enough that he has like a private doctor who will allow him to leave during the day and go and wrestle. And come back and heal during the evening.
Maybe that's his physical therapy.
Yeah, that's it. That makes sense. Yeah, 100%. So you're going to spend some time with Hubert practicing fighting scrapes. Is it like boxing? Is it very like formal martial arts and things? Or is it just like, let's go and just pick fights with people. Let's go to a bar and try and glass someone. Let's get into real practical experience.
Could you imagine Hubert picking a fight? He'd be like, excuse me, sir, can I please?
Would you mind punching me in the face?
Yeah,
I need you to punch me.
Could you please punch me so I can retaliate? No, I think it's pretty kind of traditional boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's footworks and jabs.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, 100%. So Minnie's kind of focused on some of the practical survival elements, things that you might need in the field to keep you alive. Beyond your training, is there anything else you look into? I mean, you have tomes available to you, things like that. Is there anything that you're focusing on, or?
Knuckle. I'm improving my knuckle just reading up on that. We lifted various things from that mummified snake person thing in our first adventure, including, I believe, scepter words and
a whip.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no sign of a crown. The crown was missing, it appeared.
No. So I think that's what I'm going to look into a bit, and is the kind of anything that's particular about what we did pick up, and if there are any reports of a matching or similar crown.
Okay, so seeing if you can possibly find the crown.
And what any of it is connected to in terms of who and events that it's connected to.
Okay.
Especially after our last little jaunt and the plague. I would like to see if there are any other kind of big bad events associated with places that these items are associated with.
Lizard focused. Okay, 100%.
Yes.
So you know that most of the artifacts you brought back were handed over to Cataseus, but you might be able to see if you can find the missing one. So I guess as you throw yourself into your own tomes and your connected libraries and things, you can make a library use roll. Please.
I love library use. Scroll. Can never find the one I need. There you are.
Oh no.
Damn. Really?
I think given there's not really like a ton of time pressure. I mean, so what you do, you find there is just not a ton of information about the region. I mean, currently, there's the war that's going on in the area, so there's getting a bit of focus now. If you go back far enough, though, there is no evidence of those the temple that you went into ever being documented. Now you're not 100% sure because you haven't gotten into the really esoteric shit, but like publicly available records like, you know, encyclopedias and things like that never acknowledge any temples in the area. So and no one's ever listed like, hey, we made a discovery here, it's in the museum. It would appear that it was never found or taken. Now that could mean it predates humans going there, or it could just mean it was taken by someone a little bit more careful. I mean, your discovery is not exactly going to be documented either.
No. I suppose of not really finding anything about that. The only other thing that I'd look into was I'd start looking into Antarctica.
Iceland?
No, Iceland. Antarctica's the other, look at my notes now. I think that was pretty much the only other thing I saw that was significant in there. So I would like to start looking into Iceland.
I'll flag that you are, so I'll make a note that you are basically beginning to look at, so you're gathering like general information and things on that. So putting, general knowledge, like some booklets together so that if you can travel, you will have tools.
Similar to when to our last trip is that I just had local knowledge.
Hell yeah.
That kind of thing. Just putting together like the adventure tourist pack. Perfect. For my friends and I.
For adventure tourists.
To travel to unusual locations.
Fantastic. Are you making any more precautions to, I guess, secure your home? Are you comfortable sleeping in a place that you are?
I would tell Lieutenant Carter. I would change the locks. And I'll set up like one of those weird can booby trap things where it's like across the door and it'll rattle anytime someone comes in.
Okay, perfect. I
make sure that the window to the fire escape is like well oiled and like not painted shut or anything like that. I make sure it's like ready to just go.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's perfect.
And I buy some really nice treats for the cat.
Got to keep your spy as well tended.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I guess, well then, speaking of Lieutenant Carter, that transitions us nicely. What did you want to be getting up to?
Sorry, I was looking through my notes and going, ooh, corkboard. Yeah. So.
And what's this?
Pretty much. I went back to our first session and was like, oh, Festival of the Dreamer. You don't say. Yeah. This is what I do in my spare time, like normally, where I'm just like, ooh, threads, yes, please.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, outside of like tactical stuff, that's not really like Ares' domain as much.
You can raise it to the others. You can raise it to others.
Oh yeah, like Ares is more of a like there is a mental element to the tactics, but it is a lot more physical spaces and like troop maneuvering and that kind of thing. Regardless, however, that is not what Ares is currently doing. Lieutenant Carter, first thing they would do is check to make sure that they're safe has not been tampered with in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
That's kind of number one.
So you open
initial instinct.
You open it and the contents are still inside. It does not appear to have been brute forced. Would you like to make a locksmithing roll to see if you can find evidence of someone picking it?
I mean, my locksmithing is 1. So
you can take it to someone to get it inspected, but otherwise it
if everything is still in there and it hasn't been brute forced and it doesn't look like anything in there has been moved, because I don't touch those objects very often. They sit there and every now and again I will look at them. It
appears to have not been moved.
Okay.
It's, of course, like I said, it's not like, burned into memory. It's all the stuff is there in the same order that you're pretty sure it was there in.
It's more things like, there would probably be like a fine-ish layer of dust over a lot of, like, it's not something that I would go in and like clean regularly. It's safe.
I mean, it's also
things are
sealed.
in there to be safe.
Yep, I get you.
Yeah. So like, again, I'm talking like, I don't expect it to be the same as if it was out.
It appears to be. It appears to be secured.
Yeah, it's fine. So long as everything is there, I will look at the objects, the metal, for a moment.
Mm-hmm. What do we see?
It is a Victoria Cross. It's in a box. There are there's like initials on it. And just LP Carter. And I don't take it out. Like, you can. Actually, no, I would open it up and look at it, because it's otherwise it's enclosed. So yes, it's a Victoria Cross, which, for anyone who's unaware, it is the equivalent sort of a Purple Heart, except it is really only awarded posthumously. It is very rare that one of those is, I believe, like the Victoria Cross specifically is. You didn't make it back.
Shit.
Yeah. As I think I've mentioned before, Carter wasn't an only child.
Oh.
So I'll look at it, sort of close the box, put it away, lock the safe. A lot of the other stuff that's kept in my safe is like, weapons when they're not in use. In the same way that, anything dangerous should be secured away.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of, like documents, important, like personal documents, passports, that kind of thing. But the main thing is I don't really look at anything else. That's all just there. So I will close, and there's like a beat before I lock the safe, and then I'll lock it, and then I will go into, actually, one thing that would be in the safe is a grenade. Yeah, because I just said I have weapons in there. Yeah. I will. It's not a live grenade. That would be mad. I have a grenade casing, which like it's got like some like marks on the side of it, like it's been sort of burned or something like that. A little. We'll take that out, kind of not really looking at it, and I am going to lock the safe, take that into my sort of like work area. Will find like a paperclip or something, because the pin is not in it.
Yeah.
We'll find a paperclip or something like that. Reset it so that it is like pinned. And then I'm going to like tie some string around the pin and essentially set myself up a little booby trap for anyone who tries to get into my house. So what they're going to hear is a nice little tinkle of a pin being pulled and a thunk of something heavy. And when they walk in, there's going to be a grenade. And I'm going to, on the side of it, get like some, what's the, like the white tape?
Like painter's tape or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm just going to like wrap that around the outside and just like write bang.
That's hilarious.
And then just set that up before I pack a small bag, and I'm going to actually like grab a cab and head. Actually, no, I have a car. I'll take my car and I'll head out of town. It's
very funny. I do. So just a few questions about the grenade. Was it once live? Is it just a dud one, or is it intentionally like a practice grenade? Like, you know, during training, they would have used it to like practice lobs or whatever soldiers do.
That's a very good question, Dave. In that, ostensibly, it was a practice grenade.
Sure.
It's not live anymore. No, this one was a practice grenade. Yes.
Okay, awesome.
And it shouldn't probably have like burn marks on it for a practice grenade, but it does.
The things happen.
So yeah, it is a practice grenade specifically for the purposes of throwing. I actually probably have more than one for the purposes of like,
fuck it.
You know, if you're gonna lob things, you don't want to just lob one, run and pick it up and lob another one. So I'll pack another one into my kit. Again, like there is an aspect of like kind of doing it without looking at what they are. The only time that I paid attention to it was like when I was actually fiddling with it. Otherwise it's just like, yep, I know what that is. It's going in the bag now.
I'm very excited for this to turn into you faking out someone with a grenade as you threaten them with it. Then yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited. I just love seeing stuff seeded.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like, so there's a practice grenade rigged up to fall, make a loud noise, and then if someone sees it, just see the word bang on the side of it as a, did you really think you would get into my house?
You bastards.
And fuck with me.
So anyone who comes in is going to be, it's basically going to let them know that you know, and presumably scare them off. It's also, actually, here's where we get in. So can you make I'm going to need you to set this up somehow, because to see if it could be basically like, you know, caught on the inside, or if they are suspicious of you laying traps, can they catch it? My instinct would be survival, as it would be trap setting. I could also see demolitions, even though it's not live. And
mechanical repair, given that it's not live?
Mechanical repair works for me as well, yeah.
What have I got? I got 20 in survival. My mechanical repair is 30. I'll try that.
Yeah. Yep. Bing. Oof. It's set up. If someone just opens the door, it should go. That said, if someone like does it, you know, very slowly, they might, you know, spot the wire and they might be able to catch it. There's a chance, but you've rigged it.
The idea is definitely more that they see a grenade that has bang written on it than like, carefully. You know, ideally the whole thing, but it's a warning no matter what.
It's almost funnier if they don't set it off. They open the door, see the grenade, and just think, this fucking lunatic rigged a bomb in their own apartment. I'm not coming back here.
Yeah. Whatever it is, amusing. Hopefully for everyone who gets to watch from home.
Fantastic. You
said you had a couple of questions. Was that it?
We're moving through. That's first step. Well, I was going to say, if you are heading, Minnie, you mentioned you would seek out Carter. Does the timing work out for, as you've gotten this rigged up, you're preparing to head upstate? Minnie would come by, and you can talk and also decide if you want to accompany or figure yourselves out.
Like it's like a knock on the door just as Carter's leaving.
As you're rigging the grenade. Turn over there.
No, I think like I've rigged it up and like I've got my bag, and I will like close the door and then turn around and be like, Miss Sinclair.
Hi. Hello. Somebody broke into my house and moved all my stuff around and put a typewriter on my desk, and then I followed a cat into a dream. Of the man who broke into my house. He knows somebody who's not called Joey Bananas, but all I can remember is Joey Bananas.
Joey
Bananas. Oh. And it's just in my head now. Bananas.
Have you been sleeping, Miss Sinclair?
Yes. it was definitely a dream because I wrote a note beforehand and it's not there anymore. So I assume that I wrote it in the dream. It was very difficult to write.
Did your house get broken into in this dream, or was
that was beforehand. That was, and I checked when I woke up. There was this place where a typewriter was, and which was not mine. So they brought it with them and took it away, which makes sense because the man was very, very large. Were you going somewhere?
Yes. However,
terribly sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you for letting me know, Miss Sinclair. Did you want me to take a look at your apartment for security?
That might be a good idea, yes.
Very good. In that case, do you drive, Miss Sinclair?
Oh, not well.
Then you don't have a vehicle with you.
Oh, no. Goodness, no. I mean, you hardly need one in New York. I ride my pushback.
Ding, ding. Well then, we'll take mine. And I'll head down to where my car is parked. It should probably be like in the sort of building area wherever cars are kept in New York City in the 1930s. I don't know cars. It's a nice one. It's not like top of the line, but it is a nice and relatively like powerful car. Like not a race car, but it is like a good car. I am surprisingly proficient at driving. And
it's not surprising at all.
Yeah. And the car is kept in very, very good condition.
It's got a little tarp on it that you can pull out of the way.
Also, I mean, probably. Although
if you're away for a little while.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It is like clean. It is well kept. It has been probably not recently waxed, but it has definitely been like shone recently. Shined, polished. Polished. Thank you.
God, how many grenades are in it?
Today.
It is a grenade.
It is a grenade.
Yeah. It's just like the whole thing is like dimpled like a grenade.
Oh, that's
no.
Kind of hilarious.
No. There's one in the tailpipe.
Or it's got like, truck nuts, those like awful things. It's got a pair of grenades.
Oh, no. I'm going to hate that. No.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Fine.
Everybody dislikes that. Except
How to spot a knob on the road.
You drive like
no
a
grenades in the car, to be clear. None grenades except the one in my bag, which is also none grenades because it's not an actual grenade.
Yeah, it's got some grenades.
I'll drive over to Minnie's apartment and like just do a sweep of it for security, just general stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So is the idea that you guys are going to do a sweep through the apartment and then, Minnie, are you staying here or are you planning on tagging along with them?
I haven't told Minnie where I was going yet.
Okay.
I didn't ask because it was private.
Yeah. Yes. So depending on whether or not I need to roll for this, I'll
are you rigging your own explosives here or are you just searching?
No. This is just to like go like, were any of the locks broken? Is this can this place be secured, or is it a situation of going, actually, you're not particularly safe here and therefore potentially go somewhere else?
Points of entry, points of exit. Areas
I'm doing the I am a hired security mercenary at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's my job.
That's sweet.
So there's
what I do.
How do I improve security? I tell Carter.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Okay, Carter, do you want to give me a spot hidden, I guess, for so there's no sign of someone forcing the door necessarily, but it could have been picked. There's also the entrance. Someone could try and go up the fire escape if they were large enough. So this might be beginning to line up with Minnie's thing to get up to the ladder and then haul themselves up. And then the lock on the inside of that is a bit of a piece of shit, but it does lock closed. That said, someone can then just break in through the glass and they'd be straight into Minnie's room. It is not as secure as yours. However, it is in like a fairly busy building. There's a lot of people around, and Minnie is quite friendly with all of the... I'm speaking for you, Alex. I presume is fairly friendly with all the people. Like, they know you're a fixture.
Everybody
here.
thinks she's deeply strange, but very nice.
Yes, exactly. So
she helps people's kids out with their homework.
Yes, perfect. So it could be reinforced. That said, there's nothing stopping someone brute forcing their way in.
All right. Well, we only have a few days in town, so I will relay that to Minnie and sort of just say, if you are comfortable here, I'm heading up to see Sam for a couple of days. So if you would prefer not to be in an apartment on your own and would like...
that would be nice, at least for a day or two. I do have... I will come back a little bit early because I've got... well, we were all going to have brunch with Hubert, but I did promise him that I would help him. Well, I don't know who's helping whom. I think he's assuming a greater degree of competency than I actually display, but we were going to try and, work on some of our, hand-to-hand combat, really. But he's in the hospital at the moment, given that he was set on fire, so...
If you would like hand-to-hand combat, Miss Sinclair, I'm not a terrible trainer.
Hubert would also like that, and we did speak of that. But again, he is currently...
Well, depending on how much time we have at Sam's, if we have some downtime, I'd be happy to give you the basics, and then you and Mr. Smith can continue training, or I can assist both of you, either or.
Well, that would be magnificent. But I wouldn't mind a night or two away from here for a couple of reasons, actually.
Neither would I.
I'm going to get my handwritten notes, that's all. I'll bring those with me. I think that's what they were looking for, and good luck to them deciphering it, but yeah. Yes. Good luck understanding much of it, but...
You write in shorthand?
Of course.
Understandable. Well...
How else do you get so much information down?
Can you make an... I think writing in a shorthand is absolutely a gimme. I think you are right. That is how you get information. There is a chance that you do write in a sort of a... Not a full code, but you could develop one going forward. Do you want to give me a... My instinct
Certainly
would be
idiosyncratic.
Yeah, my instinct would be education maybe, from like when you were studying.
Yeah.
I reckon hard for like, do you have a full code developed, or like... There's a chance this is just fucking indecipherable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard education.
Yeah, it'd take a while to pass at least.
So,
it's probably not, it's not, it wasn't originally, is my instinct, I'm speaking for you here, like, but my instinct would be, it probably wasn't developed originally to be a code so much as a shorthand that you developed for your personal use, and it is now just filled with like marks and symbols that mean whatever.
It's a very idiosyncratic shorthand.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's the shorthand of somebody who reads copiously and takes notes consistently.
And it refers to other journals, like you don't necessarily write one to the other.
There's cross-referencing.
Yeah.
She's not organized in the typical sense either. There is notebooks for specific things that all cross-reference each other. Like there is an entire notebook that is just a bit like references to other books. Mm-hmm. It's idiosyncratic at best.
Hell yeah.
Accidental encryption.
Yeah.
I mean,
accidental two-factor authentication.
Have you ever read an academic's notes?
Yeah. That was one of my first gigs, was editing PhD theses, like helping with the grammar and Not
even like the thing, just the types of notes they take, and it's that is accidental encryption. Yeah,
it sure is, especially when you're working in the economics department. Not good.
Okay, so there's a plan for the two of you to head upstate.
Yes. Yes. I will say to Miss Sinclair though, there's like sort of as you're packing things, I will kind of quietly assist with getting stuff And then is there any hesitancy from Minnie to leave like a large volume of stuff? Like, is there anything that, because I know you said like, oh, I only want my notes, but what I have gleaned from Minnie is that she wants her notes and probably like a couple of books maybe, but maybe doesn't want to like... The notes will do? The notes will do.
And probably, and the book on Iceland.
Okay.
Like my encyclopedia book. Like I've got one big book on Iceland. I've kind of done a little bit of research on it, but I've got my one big like...
Very good. Yeah, just as we are sort of moving out, like heading out, I will take a like brief look and go, Miss Sinclair, I do have a motor vehicle if you need
I should probably pack a change of clothes.
That would be advisable, yes.
Yes, I've got my books, but you know, I'm going to need clothes. Thank you. And revise.
Mm-hmm. I will get the car sort of packed up and everything sort of like secured with twine or whatever, just to make sure that it sits nicely. So that it doesn't like, I mean, if it's all like loose papers and binders and stuff.
It's notebooks, and it's little notebooks. Like she's a field librarian.
And that's why you got the shorthand, so you don't need as many books.
Exactly. That was the primary reason for developing, is that, you know, you get those little, you know, passport-sized notebooks, and you can have a whole bunch of them, and they're very easy to transport.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you can load all the gear up into the car and begin to head out towards Dr. Sam's farm. Minnie, you will spot the cat as you're heading out has leapt up onto Carter's bonnet and curled itself to sit there quite contentedly, and seems unwilling to move once back. As you talk to it, it sort of like purrs and rolls over, but it's in no more recognition than it's always shown you. And as it slides off the side of it onto the ground, it's also with definitely less grace than it showed during the dream. That said, it's still a cat. So, you know, these things are relative. You begin to...
Was that the cat, Miss Sinclair?
Yes, I think the sounds made him a little bit stupid.
Well, cat. Off you trot.
Sort of shifts over to the side and fucks off to go do cat shit. From here, you can tear out of the city and head upstate towards Dr. Sam's farm. And speaking of which, Dr. Sam, you discovered evidence of a strange shovel and a ring.
It's true.
When you returned home. There's since been a night and a morning. What have you been up to? Sorry, I pass it to you, sir.
And one of the neighbors said that someone was sneaking in. Right? One of the neighbors said
they saw lights on in the barn.
Saw me coming home the night before I actually did.
Yeah,
sounds not good. So I'll pick over and see if I can spot anything else out of place. I get the impression I won't, because we're pretty good at spot hidden, but I will spend the time just having a good look around, making sure I got all the information I can.
Checking around around the barn.
The whole barn, the whole house. Yeah, just like really take my time and see what else could have happened. What could have been taken, what could have been left.
Having a look around, you don't see any sign of someone coming into the house, but as you double track back towards the barn, and at this point it's getting sort of late, and you think of retiring in not too long, you will find a boot print where someone headed inside, and as you rest your boot next to it, it appears to not match yours. Can you give me a track roll, please?
Probably not, but I'll try.
Yeah. Have a crack. Roll a track.
15 points? Why not?
Oh, the roll did not come through to me. Sorry.
You still got it muted, so you can't hear.
I do have it muted. It also just what the heck?
Ugh. Why aren't I running this stream? I ask you.
Oh, it's because you whispered it to me.
Oh, did I? I did. I had Whisper to Keeper on.
Ha ha ha.
Everyone will have to trust that I rolled 25 over 10. So I think that's worth
25 over
points.
10. Okay, all right, perfect.
I'll give you 15 points.
So first of all, you can tell that there are two sets of prints. There are two different sizes of shoes, so two people came and went. And additionally, no sign of them going into your house, but they definitely went into the barn and traipsed around a bit. Looks as though you can just see like scuffs at points where it looks like they stood there. It's not a clear sign. And also, you can find a point where it looks as though they headed off into your property. like they walked the perimeter
field.
or headed out into the field somewhere. Now, following this will take some time, but you could pick up the trail in the morning if you wanted to follow and see where they went.
Yeah, I think I'll get that done at some point.
Okay. All right. So do you take any preparatory steps come evening and into the night?
No, I think if I've eliminated any immediate threats and any immediate kind of points of concern,
Yep.
then I might spend some time relaxing and unwinding and getting my mind off things for a bit.
Comfy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be home.
Yeah, it's nice.
And as far as my skill efforts,
Oh yes. How'd you go?
you may have seen I got my second ever improvement for medicine. I rolled my second one.
Oh no.
So since the start of the campaign, my
So
medicine has
high,
increased from
so-
70 to 72. But I did get 8 points in pilot, which kind of makes sense.
Oh hey, that's good. You did a lot of piloting.
Bringing my pilot up to 78. And then for my chosen improvements, I've spent some time, I'm going to spend some time having go electrical repair because that's
Oh hell yeah.
that has been important up until now.
So what do you think
I have not managed to succeed.
Do you have like an old radio set or something that you're
Well,
piecing
yeah,
together?
and the form that takes, I think, is finding some radio bits, putting a radio together, and having another go at mounting one to the flyer
Oh yes, of course.
over a longer period of time.
Yeah, 100%. So you sort of, this does kind of seem like Dr. Sam's like comfortable place. You're home, you've got a mug of tea or whatever, and you're tinkering with bits and pieces, disassembling a radio,
Definitely.
making it more compact and sliding it into the plane. I'm not going to need a roll for this. I think you're taking time to do it over the downtime. So you've begun slotting it together, and over the next day and the following, unless you get attacked or something hypothetical, it should all be slotted in and ready to go for your next expedition. Come morning, the next day, no sign of anything during the night. You sleep easily, and it's probably the best sleep you've gotten in some time, given your recent trips beyond. You actually didn't rest at all until after the cure was dispensed, and in the morning, you begin to follow the tracks further out from along your property. You walk along there's like a fairly simple fence line, mostly just to delineate yours versus the neighbors, as you don't actually keep stock or anything in your property. And as you walk along the edge, you spot in the distance, underneath a tree, there is a clear mound of churned earth where grass is not over it, and there's like clear signs of it being dug up not too long ago.
Well, that's suspicious as heck. And I think back to the muddy shovel I found in my barn. I think someone's trying to frame me for murder.
That'd be messed up.
That's my leading theory. Muddy shovel hidden in my barn with a wedding ring. I want to see what's in that mound. At the same time, I want to have a witness for here.
It's funny you say that.
Sure, if I should call the police. Yeah, better not. It would be really nice if I had Aries here.
And as you look over at the distance, you can see a car coming up the driveway. It's a nice looking car, and there's no grenade truck nuts. So that's a bonus as well.
It's not a truck. To be clear.
Car nuts, then.
Very good. Carry on.
Nuts.
I pass it to the three of you. It's sort of, I guess, like, timeline-wise, it's sort of like early afternoon. After lunch.
Oh, good. Just in time for afternoon tea.
Winner.
My favorite.
I will pull in and see Sam, wait for him to come over. Sam, hello. Sorry to intrude. Needed to get some
never
fresh
intrusion.
air.
We've got plenty to go around out here.
Do you have space in your wonderful tinkering workshop for this here vehicle, or do you need me to keep it outside?
No. We want to get exposed to the elements. Can see you're taking good care of it. Better get it under cover, eh?
Thank you, Sam. I don't know. pull, do the thing where I like pull in next to a plane.
It's true.
Yeah.
One plane and like 5 bits of planes.
Yeah. 5 planes in pieces.
Yes.
Almost planes. X-planes.
The sum of 3.4 planes scattered around.
I do hope you don't mind if we spend an evening just to.
My house got broken into.
Well.
They brought a typewriter, and which is, now that I think about it, very strange. Actually, something that I do.
Minnie's also been having some vivid dreams.
Just the one. Just that one. The cat told me to go under the bed, and I did. And then I went through a door, and I think they might have been the mob. I think I witnessed a mob villain origin story. Anyway, the man who broke into my house, apparently, according to my dream, that the cat told me to have, is a very large man with one ear who knows somebody who is not called Joey Bananas, but I can't for the life of me remember his real name anymore because everybody was just saying Joey Bananas at him.
I'll admit,
I would like to say, like, I
have
heard all of this in the car. Like, I would have asked and just, like, kind of absorbed it all as, like, something to listen to and just sitting there with a look on my face of this. to Sam. Being
I didn't follow all of that, but maybe you can tell me again over some tea.
Yeah, let's put the kettle on.
Yeah, we'll follow. I assume this is probably now a conversation that's going to be moved to be had around a kitchen table with mugs of tea rather than standing around a car. So, scene change in your mind.
Do we also skip to we now know everything that's happened so far?
Fire well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sam tells us about being framed for murder. I'm like, that might be a little bit. That's
and I think at this point,
worse.
part of will also be like, it's also, someone trying to get into my house as well, which I would not have mentioned up until this point for Minnie. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. What kind of lock do you have? Because if they tried and didn't succeed, I need one of those.
Oh, no, they succeeded. Yes.
Huh.
However, if they succeed again, they're in for quite a surprise.
So, someone or someone's taken up an interest in us. Before we get too much further, I was wondering if anyone wants to come and see what's in my backyard.
In your paddock?
Yeah, the mound that I mentioned moments ago.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm a little bit concerned.
No. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. But oh, no.
It's a bit, it's not a good look to have a muddy shovel and someone else's wedding ring hidden in your barn.
And a bunch of
So
mounds.
I wouldn't mind
in your paddock.
finding out what's under that mound before someone else does.
Uh-huh. Do you know, that does seem like kind of a mob mafia sort of play, does it not? Why?
And as I'm sitting here, I'm starting to imagine that the police are on their way any moment from a less than honest caller. So, shall we?
What's the play if they have been called?
Let's just do it one step at a time, hey? Let's find out.
You have a very fast car, and the Chaosium organization is far more powerful than we first assumed.
Oh,
So,
yeah, no, look.
We have a place for sanctuary, I hope.
I also have this. Pull out a grenade.
I thought you were quite
Why do you have that?
those.
Oh, pull out the pin, like without the thing.
This is Scrabble backwards.
It's a practice grenade.
Of course it is. Why would it be anything else? It's not like you ever just carry live weapons around.
I don't carry live grenades around, but
That's what
throw
I
it
like
up in the
about you.
air, catch it, and we'll put the pin, catch it and put the pin back in. I got lucky when we were in North Borneo. I'd like to not rely on luck again if I can. My training for the next few days, alongside taking Miss Sinclair through some basic hand-to-hand and
yes, please. I got my ass handed to me.
general maneuverability. Because I will also just you want to dodge as well? I can. My dodge is also.
Give me some dodge.
Is it dodge up the grabs?
I mean, I'm assuming like I can teach anything where like I don't know what the actual mechanical rules are, but like for the viewers at home, my like 3 higher skills now are handgun at 73, brawl at 74, and dodge, which hasn't moved, but it started at 70.
Yeah.
So, you know, I am a whirlwind of death and bullets.
Fuck yeah, that sounds sick.
No one can touch me.
I've got spot hidden stealth and library use.
That's also
Hey,
very
look,
practical skills.
I started with no spot hidden. I was not an observant person, which makes no sense. But, you know, well, actually, probably makes sense for the military. It makes less sense for, like, private security, which is kind of what I'm doing now. But anyway, yes, so...
Librarian. We shall. Let's go look at some mounds.
But also, yes.
Is it several mounds or is it just the one?
One so far.
Oh, dear.
Always room for more.
Yes.
Where did you put that ring, Sam?
Why, here it is.
Oh, you didn't touch it, did you?
Wearing it like a sociopath.
Oh no, I probably wouldn't have. No. I would have left it right where it was. I would have put the. I think I would have put the shovel in the ring back where I found it. For the moment. No, I wouldn't have. That would be dumb because now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They're gonna frame me. No, yeah. Once that thought has come to my head that someone's trying to frame me, I will have moved it to another hiding place.
Where have
shovel
you-
and the ring.
Have you just moved it under a different top?
Is it your shovel?
That's a good question. Was it my shovel? No. No, I just would have.
It looks like a new shovel, like recently purchased and used for this.
I'd have to move it somewhere where someone wouldn't be able to find it.
Alternatively, you leave it where it is because it's not your shovel. The more you try and hide things, the more suspect it's going to look.
No, but it already looks like I've hidden it. But if someone is trying to frame me, they're going to call and say, "Hey, you know, he's got the murder shovel in this spot in the barn."
Let's just go look at the mound first before we decide that it's a murder shovel.
Before these folks have arrived, I will have moved it to a different type.
Okay. So
maybe like in the rafters. Can I put it like hide it in the rafters of the barn?
Yeah. I mean, it's your barn. You'd have like loads of hiding places.
That's what I'm hoping.
There's a little bit of like, imagine a little bit of like guilt as you're like, you know, you're going between places. You're trying to like, is this worse? Am I making things worse? Is making this better? Where does this go? Do I clean the shovel?
I better split it up. I'm going to split it up. I'm going to split up the shovel and the ring as well. Split up the shovel and the ring.
Okay.
Ring is much easier to hide.
Do you clean the shovel?
Yeah.
Okay. Gleam. You can clean it so it is gleaming. It just looks like a new shovel.
Right.
See,
and then
the easiest place to hide would just be with the other shovels. It would never be, you know, it does not stand out amongst them. It's the newest one. Or you could.
That makes a lot more sense.
Or you could like find a pretty good hiding spot. I mean, you've got tons of gear and stuff. You've been based here for a little while. You could like get it underneath the house and quite out of the way if you want to spend the time.
That is way better if I just clean it and then just like chuck it in a pile in the corner with a whole bunch of other tools.
Yeah.
So it just look like a tool.
What
and
about
a wedding
ring? The ring, that's a little bit more identifiable. And once again, it's
hide that like inside a plane part. I'm sure.
Fuck yeah, that's cool.
Like some kind of engine that no one knows how to take apart.
Yeah, that rules. And also, yeah, you'd be the only person who could disassemble it without being noticed. That's really clever. I like that. Harder to fit a whole shovel in one.
I did think about
what did the ring had an inscription, didn't it?
Yes, so the ring is a golden wedding band with the name Bresciani written on it. Bresciani. Bresciani.
That sounds like a rival mob.
Bresciani.
I'll just
Bresciani.
Thank you.
Yar. I can do this all the time. This is easy as.
I mean, usually I just do my best phonetic approximation of the thing you just said because I don't need to know how to spell it as long as I say it back right.
That's true.
That is helpful. You're relatively good at books and such, Miss Sinclair, so perhaps we have
relatively good, yes.
in the same way that I'm relatively good at shooting things.
Correct. But
perhaps
that's funny because
records.
Bresciani, oops. I'm leaning towards being the same people who were in my house. Almost said dream there. In my house.
Right. Well, if it's the mob killing one of their own or a rival, then it's not necessarily the police that's going to be the problem.
It could be both, honestly.
Let's get some more information.
Let's check out those mounds.
Of what's in that mound.
And then, yes, I'll have a look at I'll see what I can find.
Just double checking, Sam. I mean, you're on a farm. You don't happen to have a shotgun lying around, do you?
Oh.
That's a good question. No, I probably just have my rifle.
Same thing. Shotgun is a rifle.
They're different. They're the same skill.
They're different.
They're different weapons. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Rifle and or shotgun, whatever.
Big fucking gun.
My rifle.
Do you have a shotgun / rifle?
I have a rifle.
Good. Well, just in case.
Bring it.
Right.
So you're probably if you're gonna go digging around in there, you're probably gonna need a shovel. Do you have one of those?
Yes, but I'll bring a different one.
You bring a different. They're not catching me. Okay. You grab a different shovel. Do you want to? Does everyone want? There's loads of shovels. If everyone wants to chip in, or is the intent to have Dr. Sam do that? Yep. Everyone lines up. You go,
sure. I won't be very useful, but I'll certainly try.
I'm going to refrain from taking a shovel as much as I will, change out for the digging if someone needs it. I am going to predominantly focus on perimeter.
Okay. All right. And hi ho. You all stream out
We
of
said shovels, not pickaxes. We don't want to leave this body full of holes. More holes than it probably already has in it.
What are you gonna do? You'll go hiking off towards the fence line, and then you traipse up along it towards the buried thing. As this happens, the sun, of course, begins to set, and red light filters through the trees to stream the ground. You can set up a couple of work lights and things, punch down on the hole because it's cool. You do it in the morning if you want to do it tomorrow.
We don't want to wait for the coppers. That's why we're doing it in the dark.
Torchlights punch on.
It's not any additional, suspect.
Torchlights
suspect.
Punch on, and you begin to dig down into the earth and throw it over your shoulders.
I'm not very good. I'm trying.
As you get started, sun continues to set, and Lieutenant Carter, you're keeping a perimeter. Can Sam make a psychology roll?
Psychology?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. As you... Well, we'll see.
This sounds important. You've made it sound important.
Okay. Yep. Dealer's choice. It is about your companions.
Oh, no, heck those guys. That's fine. 13 points? I already spent 15 on the track.
Push it real good.
I can't really. I don't have a push in mind. I don't think.
They're my friends.
Yeah. You are you're focusing on the work. All right. As you dig down, you're like, I mean, there's a fair bit of mud here. They had the whole night. This could be fairly deep down. We're gonna need to set in for some bit. Oh, nope, there it is. It was under a very thin layer of dirt, and you pull back. And as you throw it away, when you pull the shovel up, there is a gunk stuck onto the end of it. And as you lift it up and put it back, it's the only thing. The sod was thrown backwards, and on the edge of your shovel there is a lump of what looks to be flesh that is stuck to it where you've dug down.
I would have been careful. I knew what I was getting into.
It's not much. It's just a little bit, but it's enough so that you have hit whatever it is, and it was not very far down. Good.
Yep. Someone wanted to make this easy to find.
Do you gather everyone around to begin to The rest will probably be more like,
Should we,
trowel work and things as you just dig it away.
I mean, should we stop now and call the police?
I mean, that's entirely up to you, Sam.
What if we call?
I mean, what's going to be easier to explain if the police show up here on their own once, whoever did this calls it in, or if we call it in first?
Let's just find out who it is first. Let's just find out who it is first. And we should find out who it is first. And if we call anybody, this is going to be a difficult question. Do we trust Chaosium in entirety?
No, of course not.
Well, do we trust them more or less than we trust the police?
They're both organizations.
Correct.
And they both have their own goals.
I'd like to call the police and say what's happened, and also say if they get a call from someone about me, I beat them to it. So I want to tell them. I know,
Sam.
There aren't all good cops, but there's going to be some of them, and so I'd like it on the record that I called first, and I reckon someone else is going to call them later.
Assuming that someone hasn't called already.
No, Sam, just hold off for a second, because we're all being messed with, and even if you call first, there could still be a way for them to put it on. You might be fine. Put it on Carter or myself or even Hubert. The mob is probably involved. The mob have influence with the police. Chaosium may not be trustworthy either. There isn't an easy answer, but I don't think calling the police is immediately. If we find out who it is first.
No.
And that might help inform who to speak to, because, for example, if it is a police officer, we should probably not call the police, because we are quite clearly being framed for that exact purpose.
All right. Yep. All right. Let's be careful. Let's brush a bit more dirt off.
And if it's a snake person who does not look human remotely, once again, police probably not the best people to go to.
All right. Let's see if we know who this is.
Forgive me if I don't join in the fun. I'm going to keep my back to what's going on, and I'm going to watch the perimeter because I don't want us to be surprised.
And I appreciate that.
Very much so.
Okie dokie. Carter, can you please give me a spot hidden roll then as you surveil the tree lines? And Dr. Sam Mini.
Nice.
Nice. You continue to pour back the dirt and reveal the body buried shallowly beneath the surface. The corpse is in a disgusting state. It is a body completely devoid of skin, the muscles openly on display, and where the gunk and blood has congealed, it is gummed down with dirt and maggots beginning to wind underneath the surface. The mouth is agape and filled with sod and soil, and you can see sort of worms beginning to bury up underneath the gum lines and chew through the eyes. This is already in a early state of decay. It is a shorter figure. This person would be... I don't know everyone's heights, I guess. I mean, it'd be like 5'4" or something. It'd be a shorter guy. Male.
Yeah.
And completely stripped of all clothing and everything else. I need Dr. Sam and Minnie to both make sanity rolls for me, please. Both
It's fine.
All good. You've seen similar now, and this is very much in a similar state as you found Shapiro.
No skin.
Delightful.
Wait, really?
He's got no skin, but the general facial structure, is this anybody local who you recognize, Sam?
I can certainly try.
The easiest thing
farmers.
You could make a medicine roll. It is going to be quite difficult, especially working out here in the dark. The alternative would be get this thing onto a tarp and bring it inside where you can clean it up and study it.
That's a probably good idea.
Okay.
Maybe not inside the house.
And I really am not sure that. I think this is a. We know what this means. It means that somebody has taken his skin. A snake person has taken his skin and is wandering around in it. This is alien bullshit, and this is not something we call the police for. This is something we call AEST for.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't know that the police are going to be called for this.
Why not?
Well, I don't know whether they did dental records in 1930, but I'm going to assume maybe, possibly, maybe. Okay, maybe not.
Power of Google.
Google.
You all
it was
continue.
beginnings, early
Google
stages
things.
of fingerprint. I believe it was very, very early stages of very.
I feel like dental might be
like
a little
stuff.
earlier. I feel like they might have dental.
Yeah. They'd be able to do things like gold teeth and fillings and that sort of shit.
Forensic dentistry. Fuck yeah.
Noise.
No, I refuse to go on. I want to learn about forensic dentistry before we continue this scenario any further.
I need to know whether they do this or not.
What do you found,
What
Dave?
did you find?
There's some cool fucking shit. So the first example they do high profile cases. Stop the stream. We're reading Wikipedia. In 1692, during the Salem witch trials, Reverend whatever his name is was accused of witchcraft and conspiring with the devil with biting his victims, and they used his bite marks from that. So it's got a history in the witch trials. Fuck
Fuck yeah.
But also, bite marks are terrible forensics, and
for sure.
But like, good to know. Regardless,
Sick.
if we're in a stage where it seems reasonable that like you can
has
identify
he bitten anybody?
not that like whether you could identify someone by their teeth, which I like possibly because dentists exist now. So like
It's the it fillings and where is the
essentially my point is going to be if one of these serpent people is now impersonating this person and the body is recovered and identified, then their disguise is busted.
balked.
So
Well, we got the name at least, right?
we do. Well, we have
Christiane?
a name.
We have
If they're part of the mob, that is possibly 50 individuals or more. They tend to be all related, at least in some part.
But there's a lot of marriage and extended families and quite.
Cousins.
Yes, I feel like. I mean, it does really seem like the perfect thing for a police setup, except for the no skin. Although, I mean, that could just be some general serial killer bullshit that they're trying to pin on you, but it seems risky. However, we do know what this means, and therefore, Caduceus should be informed that there is a snake person wandering around with this bloke's clothes on him. Yeah.
Alternatively, try and get in touch with the mob.
Straight to the source. To be fair, I don't entirely trust Caosium, but I probably trust the mob less.
Oh, it's not about trust. I just want to find out who this fellow is.
Well, let's have a closer look at him, shall we?
I'd rather not. That's right.
Oh, Sam, get
Yeah.
inside.
Let's one
He
step at a time,
He
eh?
might be local, and if he's local, then if one of your neighbours is in fact a snake person, it would probably be good to know.
One step at a time, eh?
We got a little bit blindsided by Shapiro, and that nearly ended quite badly. So,
Get him inside, take a closer look at him.
correct. And then I suspect maybe the mob. I mean, I do have names, sort of. We've got that name, but we've also got Bananas.
Bananas.
And it'll just take me a minute to remember what it was actually called. It was very strange. But yes, inside. But I do actually like that idea. I think we're independent contractors. We don't owe Caosium everything, so
We can certainly inform Caosium, but it seems a better thing to go to Caosium with a name of an individual who has been replaced than it is to say, we found a skinless body, that's it.
yes.
I hope we're having this
Agree.
conversation while we're getting to the top and dragging it along.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Carter's kind of doing a bit of attitude, so I think you're having a discussion.
You are having this conversation to Carter's back for the
Correct.
most part.
That's fine.
You've probably stepped away a bit, and they've kind of talked to you, and now Carter will head can either fill in the hole or head into the house and get to finish off getting dinner ready as Minnie and Sam get this body onto a tarp and move it into a quarantined off section inside the barn. So Sam, do you like smoke your own meat or anything? Would you have any reason to have like a refrigeration unit out the back? We do a little,
anything this rural would have anything this rural would have a refrigeration unit because there'd be no other way.
If he has a
not
full
a refrigerator, like an ice
but
box.
you wouldn't have like a walk-in
big
smoke
box,
room or anything that you could.
Would it be big?
Want to smoke a maggoted corpse?
It would help to quarantine and stop the state of decay, is what I'm thinking. Otherwise, it's kind of you're just kind of putting it in a room where it will. It
As a medical professional, probably, yeah. I mean, what's the likelihood that people like?
I mean,
you don't function as a morgue. There'd be a
it's not a morgue, but also
but if
Dr.
you
Sam
are
has
like
spent most of his career with no fixed address. Like he's just kind of ended up here.
That's right.
While it's convenient for him to have a base in New York. So we just kind of bought the place while it was already tumbled down.
With all the shit in it.
Yeah. So maybe he'll have a look around in a bit of the yard that has a whole bunch of rubbish in it that he hasn't really cleaned out yet. See if there's a large icebox or similar there.
Make a luck roll. Make a luck roll. You'll definitely have an icebox, something you could kind of start chopping off limbs and jam it in. Let's see if you have something larger.
I do not.
Let's not do that. Not. The point is to look
limbs
at it.
Off. Okay.
Well, I will make a rather unpleasant suggestion as I go inside and say, get something for us to eat. Is once you're done identifying the individual, lop its head off or something with you.
What?
No.
Do you want it to come back?
What?
Is that a thing?
We have not seen that.
No,
we've seen this before, and this is not. No, I'm not lopping anybody's head off. Absolutely not. No, it's not a thing that we've seen. We've seen a lot of weird shit, and I'm not going to make an assumption that leads to me decapitating a corpse. No.
It could make things more complicated if we embark on that particular course of action.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. Forget I mentioned
it. Then do it.
No, yeah.
And
you can do it.
I'll head inside. Just not at I'm just.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry I mentioned it, and I'll head inside to start, putting together some basic food.
Get out the MRE.
I'm not a 5-star chef or anything, but I'm sure I can throw together some basic, eggs.
You'd have egg.
Okay. Dr. Sam and Minnie get the body rolled onto a tarp and haul it across into the barn. Working together, you're able to wash down the body, strip it back of mud and filth, and examine it more thoroughly. Minnie, do you want to remain on site to assist Dr. Sam or head off and... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dr.
I
Sam,
feel like this is easier with assistance.
Oh, yeah. Can you make a medicine roll with a bonus dice?
I can try. Hey. Yeah.
Okay.
Regular plain old success.
This person does have going on the teeth. Does have a couple of busted teeth and crooked sections where you might be able to identify a body if you looked into it, given that you specified that earlier. There's no sign of hair or anything, as that's all been peeled back and sloughed off. And from the state of decay, you would estimate that this person has been in its present form for around 4 or 5 days, maybe in that area. This did not happen long ago. This probably happened while you were in North Borneo.
On the way back.
Yeah. The height would probably help to define them, be about 5'4" or something. And you are also aware that you do have that vial of something that you were going to be stabbed with that seemed to sort of bubble at the wooden veneer and might be another part of the Serpent People's technology that you could study further. This would connect you to that. Is there any other questions that you'd have for the body specifically?
For the body?
Yeah. You want to ask anything?
How you doing?
Excuse me, are you quite
You
well?
have said before that you talk to your machines and you talk to people,
That's
your
true.
patients by having. Do you talk to the corpse?
You got me there. Probably. I'm sorry. This is going to be a bit uncomfortable. Just going to slide you right off here.
Have a look at his teeth. See if there's anything about his smile that you recognise.
Did you recover that, Dave? You
Yeah,
said
you'd have,
if you don't recognise as one of the neighbours.
No,
if you
nothing.
oh yes, that was the core thing. You do not believe this is one of your neighbours. This does not line up with them. Not anyone that you see regularly, at least. Sort of short, stocky, quite muscled, like quite strong. Whoever this was. If you had the opportunity, if you could somehow trick someone masquerading as this person into allowing you to perform dentistry on them, you could identify them. Short of that, it might be difficult. The teeth do have some discerning things, but you'd need to open your mouth and say and get in there with the little.
No, but the person masquerading them is just wearing skin.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd be able to go, "This isn't them." I can see that
his teeth are still in there.
Yeah, but you don't know what the skin looks like.
His teeth are still in the body, then.
Is.
The person wearing the skin has probably got fangs.
Yeah, they've got their own teeth.
That'd be fucked up. Why that?
That's weird.
Question.
Which kind of plot hole? It's teeth.
When did we in terms of how far we in through the we arrived home? How long has it been since we arrived home?
Got in. This is the end of the day after you arrived. So you got back. Went, someone's broken into my shit. Slept, laid traps, headed to Dr. Sam's. You got a full day tomorrow, and then you're expected at Chaosium the following day.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, and I'm assuming Sam would have told us this with our little, tea in the kitchen, tell everyone everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your neighbor said that there were lights on the day before, the night before we arrived.
Mm-hmm. We got back
meaning
in
that it's
the morning.
been 2 days since the lights were seen, and this body has been dead for 4 to 5 days, which makes which would make sense then that it's not a local and someone from out of town, because they would have had to have taken a few days to bring them here.
And
if they only buried them a day and a bit ago, this wasn't they weren't killed here. They don't belong here. That makes a lot of sense in terms of the timeline, unless I am getting that wrong.
So as you all gather back in the kitchen to discuss, I'll pass it back to you. The one other thing that I will flag: one, that there is a vial that you could have taken a look at, and secondly, when you first encountered Shapiro had returned. There is a magical level to this as well. He did look like it was off, but he did look like, and then once it kind of went jaw unhinges and they lunged, then it was oh fuck, that's just a lizard wearing skin. That's cooked. But until then, there's a level of
an illusion.
Additional. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We all can gather around and
we should have a look at that. We should definitely have a look at that vial, because that could have been part of the skin sloughing process.
Sloth.
I do suspect that is a member of the mob. I'm going to just have a look at. Did you get the paper? Did you get the paper out here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just going to have a look at. I'm just going to read the paper. See if there's
just one more thing I wanted to flag. The thing about identifying how long the body's been dead for, it gets harder as it goes on. If you got someone who died last night, you can tell pretty easily. You got someone who died 2 or 3 days ago, you're pretty confident. And then past that, starts getting a bit fuzzy. So it would make sense that whoever put this chap here is probably going to wait a few more days before calling the police, because the longer they wait, the easier it'll be to say that he died after I got back.
Well, yes, because if they can estimate the date of death easily, we would not in the country.
Exactly.
Clearly. And that if that's the purpose, then that's a problem. So yes, you're right. We've probably got a little bit of leeway there. I'm not entirely sure that's the point anymore. I'm not convinced that's the point. But if it is, then I'd agree. We'd have a couple of days.
There is one thing we're not considering. If this isn't something that the police are going to be called about, why on earth would the snake people, who I feel at this point are fully aware of who we are, make it very obvious to us that they've stolen someone's identity? If they put this anywhere else,
They're looking for us. They know we took their shit.
The only other thing I'll flag is that you actually all rolled really well. All three of these clues were actually moderately well hidden. In the chaos, it was in the chaos of Minnie's apartment. Lieutenant Carter, there was just like a smudge of ash where someone looks like they've made a copy of your key. There was no sign of anyone on the interior. And Dr. Sambra also rolled quite well to find a single thing under a single sheet in the back of your thing. Like even the boot prints, you only realized after the fact, once you went, oh, hang on, I did. Like this was quite well hidden.
I understand.
All three.
Thanks. That's good to know. I mean, okay, so rather than going like, why did they want us to find it? The point is, they could have put this body anywhere, and they chose to do it in Sam's land.
Maybe
the three of us being the closest thing that exists to knowing what they are. Either they are working on the basis of abject stupidity, or
stupid,
or there's something else
set up.
Well, regardless, yes, potentially we are being set up. Fair enough. I just don't know why they would play their hand like this. They didn't want us to find this,
They didn't
clearly.
expect us to find it.
But even if they called the police, if the
I don't know that they
body,
will.
we then are aware that it's skinless. Like
maybe they just didn't have a better option. Maybe they had the body and thought, well, bury it here because we don't like where we want to cause problems for these individuals. I think it may be a setup not for the police, for the mob potentially. They're definitely involved somehow. Not these ones particularly. They might be. The Bresciani is not the name that I know.
I have a mechanical question.
Yar?
Hi. I know there's such a thing as an idea roll.
Yar?
Which sort of lets you kind of work out leads, sort of the most likely
It's kind
scenario.
of like, hey, here's some things you might not have plugged in. Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, because there are sort of a couple of different potential reasons that this could have happened, and based on the information we have, and given Ares is a tactician, and given that Ares has an intelligence of 90, there are possibility that Ares might have picked something up that I, as a player, have not, and would then have a strong sense of which of these possibilities is the most likely. Not necessarily definitely true, but just are we dealing with the police are going to be called? Would that make sense? Or are we does this feel more like, no, we're getting set up for the mob? Or does this feel like someone just panicked and did a bit of a stupid?
Did a goof.
In short,
Very
so it's like a
convenient.
vibe.
Yeah, you can do a vibe check.
Yeah.
Give me an int roll. Is it going to scale?
Watch me now fail this. That would
What's
be
a fumble?
hilarious.
That would be pretty funny with a 90.
Straight to jail. Or that. It's one of the two,
Or that.
wasn't it?
Or that.
Okay. So I'm not going to, spell everything
No,
out. But
I'm not asking you to tell me the
I
plot.
can vibe check it.
In this specific instance, I am going, there are a couple of different paths, and this is one of those things where I'm like, I, the player, am a certain level of intelligence. My character is bananas intelligent, and I would like to utilize that in a mechanical way if I may.
Yeah, 100%. So... Okay. Jamie actually was talking to me the other day about how idea rolls work. I forget everything he said. So I remember being like, oh, that's quite cool. I like that. Because historically I haven't really used them too much. So we're just going to wing it. The idea... So clearly this reeks of setup. is the most obvious thing. It was hard to find, but if anyone just pointed out where it was, it's so transparent. Like the muddy shovel, the ring put on top of it, and then a shallow grave. The shallow grave was kind of hidden off in a corner of a plot of land where you would have no reason to go. But as soon as the tip would just be, hey, look under the tarp at the back of his house and then go to that corner and you will find the body. It's got the ring to identify it. It's everything there. That lines up. There is clearly evidence of this. There's 100% Serpent people ties to this, given how the skin has been removed. And the last time you saw that, someone was then masquerading around in the skin. So there's presumably someone moving in it. With that in mind, then, the person who's gone missing might not be known to be dead yet, because they might still think they're alive and moving, which adds another level to this. If that's the case, figuring out who this is might point you towards, what the plan is behind it. Beyond that, it was reasonably well hidden. So this might not be a plan that was going to be sprung immediately. It might be something that's like on a delay, because the muddy shovel and the ring and things wouldn't be found, and the body is still going to be a corpse there. If anything, it might look less occult and more murder victim the longer it lays. So this is the sort of thing, this is kind of a time trap. They could call this in 3 months from now. You still probably wouldn't find the shovel, and it'd still work to go, hey, we think that person that's gone missing or whatever is there. You're going to find the victim. So they could sort of pull the rug out from under Sam at any point. You get the impression this is someone trying to get a failsafe or get something, a button they can push to fuck over Sam in particular. Given the timing in both of your apartments, it's either a very big coincidence or it's at least related. It looks as though this is a concerted investigation, and but it's also none of it's active. Like, there weren't booby traps laid, there weren't knives in your pillows or sleeping darts firing out. This is sort of someone still in the intelligence gathering phase or beginning to set seeds for future plans to occur.
Okay. So what we're dealing with here is more reconnaissance and a failsafe.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. I think we've interrupted, but I think we've truncated, or not truncated, but interrupted whatever they were planning. Early in the process, I don't think they expected us to find this stuff so quickly, and I'm almost positive they didn't expect me to wander into the dream of the man who broke into my apartment. That would be insane.
Apparently, if they return to Carter's, they will learn that at least some of it has been uncovered, and they might begin to look in, and they might work on the assumption that you've discovered them. It's up to you if you want to.
They might realize that people were looking into us, but once again, given what we do, that's not entirely surprising.
Also, there's no way
how much we do know, though.
Yeah, there's no way for them to know that anyone outside of, I knew, and I am the one who is most likely to find something. So,
yes.
At least as far as...
It's probably why they didn't go into your apartment. They just took a copy of the log.
Yes. I find this all a little bit more comforting in an odd way. We're not dealing with something that is an imminent threat. We're dealing with something that is... If we push the wrong buttons... Manageable. Then I think this was a way to make us stop.
Oh, we definitely pushed some buttons, that's for sure.
If this body disappears, keeper, dearest,
yes,
does that then become we don't actually have to worry about the whole murder framing thing? Like, the body's just gone
Yeah, it depends it depends on what it depends on what they're planning to do with it, but there is kind of a level. I mean, if let's say they go the most obvious route and they just call the cops on you, and they go, "Hey, check under the
could be rival gang,
tarp, and then go to the back," and they go to the tarp and they go, "Yeah, there's nothing here," and then they go to the back and they go, "Yeah, this is empty." Actually, the empty hole is a little bit suspicious. You might want to cover that and get some grass growing.
We'll fill that in for sure.
But also,
they didn't expect us to find it. Sam builds planes and has quite a bit of it's not unreasonable that there would be a minor accident, a bit of a fire.
Straight to fire.
You know, just a little bit
that's
of
the
a
investigators I know.
As an alternative.
with
as an alternative, and I'm not saying this is better. Your neighbors have pigs, yes?
Yeah, I suppose some of them do.
Pigs will eat anything.
Well, they can be trained. They can be trained to be omnivores, and once you do that, you can actually untrain them. I would advise against it.
I don't feel great about spreading this nonsense to my neighbours. They didn't
Fire
ask for
it
any of
is
this.
then.
And I mean, fire on.
Yeah, I got an old engine that I was going to get rid of anyway.
If we planned to dispose of a lot of bodies over time, then the pigs are a brilliant idea. Short term, though, a single fire on Sam's property is probably.
Okay.
How often have you had
It's a whoopsie.
bonfires and that kind of thing, Sam?
Oh, I'm pretty careful, but you know. Not
No, I
everyone
didn't mean I did not mean an accidental fire in your building. I just mean like you know, have a fire.
No, I mean, it'd be a way to dispose of things, and
yeah, I mean, might have a little bit of a campfire to roast up some marshmallows, but we're going to need something a bit bigger than that, I think.
Yes. Also,
I just think it's a plain whoopsie.
That also gives us a good reason to put fuel on said fire,
Precisely.
and that's going to be hot if we want to properly cremate bone.
Yes, I'm going to check the paper to see if there's any mention of gang activity in this state in general, just to get an idea of names and personages and just do a bit of general reconnaissance of my own. I am inclined to believe this is to do with the mob based on the man who broke into my apartment and the name on that ring.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Miss Sinclair.
Okay. So
also, I get asthma and I don't really like the whole smoke thing.
So you have another day. Is it safe to say that you'll make some sort of preparations, do some research and things, but you're not planning on like immediately raising this a Caduceus or anything? So you can do a bit of research, get rid of the body, obfuscate the signs of corpse buried, and then head back to New York the next day for a little brunch action. Is that all good for everyone? Okay.
Yep.
Brady.
It'll have to be brunch because we need to sleep in.
Yes.
Yeah. With addition to that, there will, if we're taking like, we've got a whole day montage of the training and the yeeting practice grenades, that kind of thing.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Cyril, who's doing
Everybody needs a montage.
Everybody needs a montage. Mini, in between montage, you were looking into the name Bresciani, presumably, and I guess just mob
Bresciani
stuff.
and the name, the actual Joseph's actual name. I had it written down as something that it probably isn't.
Banana.
As I was taking
Joey.
notes, do not. Banana.
No, it was legitimately like banana.
It was Banero or something.
It was.
I think it was Banano.
Banano.
Yeah.
I can get that back.
It was Joseph Banano.
Yeah, Banano. Yeah,
which is close. Yeah, it was very
close. It was an N or an R. Yeah.
Yeah.
One second.
Yeah, I had him.
Also wrote it down.
Yeah,
Joseph Banano.
Yeah, cool.
So quite close. So you're going to be looking into that. There's that. So, and then there's getting rid of the body, and there's also hiding the burial site. So if you go and light a fire or crash a plane or whatever into where the body was buried, then if someone gets tipped off, hey, check that point, they will find something has happened. You know,
No. My thought was like I've probably got like a runway, like a little bit of a runway that's like a rough bit of road. Put like enough of bits of a plane out there to make it look like I was like trying something new, and the engine caught fire. And also, hey, there was a body in there.
Slap the corpse in that. That'll burn it enough. You then filter through, and then you just bury all the bits.
Remove enough of the corpse that
If it's a hot enough fire, it's essentially cremation. So we
exactly.
I don't know that I doubt you'll get it hot enough. I mean, look, we're getting into that doesn't really matter at this
Plane
point.
fuel.
feel like at that point that's
but
just
in an
a
open
roll.
area and yada yada. I think you'll get it. You'll try you'll crisp the shit out of it, and then you can get rid of the semantics.
Scatter it down there, just toss the handfuls out of the car as we drive away.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Like
Scatter to the winds.
Very dumb joke about elephants.
Who wants to work on what is, so I guess that can kind of just happen. I'm fine for that to go ahead. It seems like a sensible enough plan. I don't need a role behind that. That's going to be obscuring it, and then doing the farm stuff is just kind of busy work. I guess Dr. Sam and Lieutenant Carter, is there anything specific you want to add? Do you want to make a roll on anything in particular? You could do a little library use of your own and try and get some research. Or you could just set yourself to these tasks. I know, Dr. Sam, you kind of wanted to get the radio in, and maybe that just kind of fills the vacuum.
The body feels more important.
Body feels more important.
The body, and I'll come back to the radio if I need to.
You can do the body and the radio in the same section if that's what you're focusing on. That's all gravy.
Sure thing.
I have no particular interest in assisting with the disposal of the body at this stage. But if Sam begins working on machinery, I'm not terrible with machines, I will join him for a brief conversation.
Okay. Perfect.
Potentially leading into longer conversation over the course of the day, but just like an initial setup.
Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then as Minnie, you have there's a couple of newspapers that Sam has collected that have just gathered there. He does get the daily, and Sam also remembers that, like, hey, I've got a neighbor that collects like all of these. If you go there, you can get a bit more. It's not exactly the New York Library, but it will be enough to get you a start. As Minnie's heading off to like just walk down the road and fetch some new newspapers, Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam can find a moment to have a brief chat. I'll pass to the two of you.
Sam. Do you have a moment?
Mm-hmm. Always.
You've known me for a long time.
That I have.
And when we both went through the same thing. You know, your chosen path out of it was to heal those that were broken. My chosen path was to try and make sure they didn't break to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I've felt the red mist before. When it's easier to see the people in front of you as objects instead of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never had a problem knowing which side I was on before. I'm worried, Sam. I don't know what to do.
Worried about what might happen next time?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. It's a bit of a different kind of a war this time, eh? Fighting some people, and guess we're fighting ourselves. That's the weapon they've got, right? Fighting another battle in our own heads. But you know, I don't need to tell you. You're a student of history, I imagine, in that academy of yours. Every now and then, the way people find to fight each other takes another step forward, and the whole world takes another step forward, and this is just another step forward to take, I reckon. Because every time someone figures out a way to hurt someone else comes along and figures out a way to protect people. So that's just what we got to do. We're just in the first steps of finding out how to keep our minds safe from these new things we're running into, but we're going to get there.
Well, in that case, let's find out together, shall we?
I reckon so.
I'll spend the rest of the day helping Sam and just kind of amicably talking about things and trying to work through some stuff. Not net like the talking is not the working through the stuff. That is mostly done internally, but yeah, the having someone who understands sometimes makes all the difference.
I love it. Perfect. You will no longer be indefinitely insane when we come into the next chapter, and you can restore. We'll figure that. I'll figure that out after, but you'll restore a small amount of sanity as well for interacting with your significant person. All right. Awesome. Minnie, you return with bundles of newspapers and begin to filter through them. I am going to need a library use roll from you.
Correct.
And this is very much going to scale, as a heads up. God, why do I say that? Fine. Every time I say this is going to scale or this is going to need an extreme, that's when the extremes come out. I should be like, fumbles would be cool.
This is an easy one. You don't need to worry about it.
All right.
That's when I fail it.
Okay.
Very well done.
Here we go.
Fail where it counts, though.
That's right. That's true. Right. Okay.
Yeah. We know how to fail big.
Filtering through the newspapers, you will find 2 years ago, really more like a little bit before 2 years ago, so three or four during there was basically a war throughout New York between rival mafias where they battled for control. And coming out of it was a young man, only 26 at the time, called Giuseppe Bonanno, who became the youngest ever boss of one of the families. He took over for another family and made it the Bonanno one. And he also founded something called the Commission, which was basically established to arbitrate disputes between gangs. This is you sort of passing through different information. You can find, articles about like rising wars throughout the area. And Bonanno he's not public facing, but he's definitely, you'll find images of him like shaking hands with like, the mayor and stuff. Like he definitely gets around and has his fingers in a lot of pies as he has taken control. You would get the sense that this is a very quite powerful man, a scary one, and given his young age, he must carry a ruthlessness with him and just an absolute unwillingness to compromise in order to have this much control throughout New York. This would appear to be the young man that you saw in your dream when everyone was calling him Joey Banana, and he was very much not happy about that. You will also recognize with the extreme, another figure is shown as a sort of, you'll see it in a like mugshot or something towards the back of one of the sections, and it is a photo of a large man with streaks of white through his hair and one missing ear, sort of leering down at the camera, and it will be posted along a headline such as "Bail posted again, crimes won't stick. Filimone Casale walks the streets of New York." This is a man with clear affiliations with the mob, and he is muscle inside it. You get the sense that this dude has like a string of crimes attached to him. If you need a house burnt down, if you need a somewhere broken into, he is your man. Additionally, you will find one which says it'll be written by like, it's not a puff piece, but it talks about his university education being wasted. This man has an intelligence to him that is hidden underneath, the sort of just like gorilla exterior. And finally, with an extreme, be like
university's least successful alumni.
Biggest failure.
Snarky.
And finally, with an extreme, you spot other photos of some like people that you believe are associated with the mafia. Among one of them, actually next to two, you will spot a man who is shorter than a number of the others. You see him, one photo will be with Bonanno. This is taken, it's like a candid shot going down a street or something. You see them sitting outside of a cafe with a red door. It does not list an address alongside it. It's just the photo, and it's doing like especially like a dive into like the families of New York. This is a man called Martino Bresciani, and you know him to be what is called a capo regime, which is basically a captain within the mafia. So he would have a group of people underneath him that he assigns tasks and sends out to do, whacking people and collecting money and
in the same family, not rival one?
all in the same one. This is all one family, the Bonanno.
Okay.
And it appears that you have a sense of some of the people that are looking into your activities while you look into ours now.
In that front with the cafe and the red door, do I see anything of the surrounding buildings, business name?
Yeah. Could you give me trying to pinpoint where this is? I'd probably ask for a navigation roll.
Oh, not very good at that. That's okay. Worth a shot.
Worth a shot.
Ticker thing. No.
Unfortunately not. It's somewhere it'll be like one of the New York suburbs. A little bit further out where it's a little bit nicer, a little bit more greener. It's not in the center of things, but you don't know exactly where. But that said, with enough time, you can probably pinpoint it. You just need to keep digging.
That's fine.
Yep.
If this is something we can assist with, I do have not terrible navigate.
Okay, yeah, 100%.
I don't know whether this is something.
Yeah, you could be set to this.
Because I could be like poring over it and trying to like match photos up, just being like, I just don't.
I want to be clear. My navigate is not Hubert's. Hubert has like very good navigate.
Well, we'll do, actually, Minnie, roll once more with a bonus dice.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have navigate? Do you
want me to just chuck a bonus dice on it? Do you want me to just chuck a bonus dice on that or roll again?
Slap a bonus dice on it.
I have a ton of navigate. Is now a good time to mention that? I do.
Still there.
This is I think also this is just also none of you are New York. Minnie is actually the New York native. Like you are based here the most frequently. Mm-hmm. Sam and Carter both sort of like have come in more recently, so you probably have the best chance of that. Will probably
so I'll take notes of the business names and this is an old newspaper. I'll cut out that bit and keep it in my notes. I'm scrapbooking the shit out of this.
Fuck yeah.
Because there are things that I'm like, this is local knowledge. I need Hubert's help.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So as the day fades and the montages conclude, you can all get one more night of rest out here on Dr. Sam's farm. It's the tranquil garden away.
How many nights of rest have we had?
3. I think including the one on the plane
since
on the way in.
Back?
2 since you got back. This is the second.
I don't remember how, like, whether or not I healed from when we traveled or not.
We will. Let's figure that in the downtime. I'll add it. Actually, might be 3. Sorry. We'll figure it out.
We'll do it
but
after.
We will track that because there's always a chance you get ganked. As you rest and then prepare to head back into New York the following morning, you will have your brunch with Hubert, where you can update him on all that you have discovered and perhaps hear if he has noticed anything amiss himself. And then following brunch, you'll be back into Chaosium, where you will report on your recent expedition to your new handler and also potentially meet with others as the next chapter is set up and we begin another adventure.
And I will relay all of the Mafia bits to these guys and set up one of my little notebooks is now the Mafia book. Sort of, with my cross-referencing.
There will absolutely be a fun montage of, doing a couple of like hand-to-hand combat things. And then like there is absolutely a point where Minnie is able to use like small size to just like
dodge and sweep.
Yeah, dodge and sweep. And I feel like there's always a chance that, good rolls would equal that that could happen. So I think that I would like to just narratively say that happens.
Yeah. It's probably to do with like Carter tries to put Minnie in a lock and she's just too small and slippery and she can get out and actually execute a throw that Carter's taught her.
I'm excited because you're learning from two different people. Learning from Carter to be very practical. Then Hubert, you'll just get terrible advice. Just like use your superior size to take them down.
Minnie's like,
yeah. If I haven't mentioned this before, and I think I've like threaded this a few times. Carter's main role, like Sam went and became a doctor. Carter's thing is they went into training, which is why it's like, oh no, you're my underling, you're my recruits. I will not see harm come to you, for you are mine, and I take great responsibility in your health and safety. And part of that is going, don't do dumb shit on my watch.
behave
Good luck teaching Minnie
yourselves.
that.
Well,
Good
So yeah, I
advice.
don't actually think there's a skill for like teaching, but
Yeah.
it's kind of tied to.
I mean,
speaking of
Carter is good at stuff.
doing dumb shit, that's the perfect transition into next session. So we'll park
Hooray.
it there and pick it up as these 3 heroes are joined once more by Hubert and can either depart for the next mission or perhaps look closer into the mafia families of New York City, baby. Thank you all so much for playing, and thank you everyone for
you,
watching. We will
Thank
see
you,
you
Dave.
all.
Thank you, Dave.
We will see you all next
And thank
week.
you, chat.
When we return. Yeah. See you soon. Ciao.
Thank you, Dave.